Yes, welcome everyone. Cannabis news. I'm here, Joe Klare. It's August 8th, 2019. The show, as always, is presented by the Marijuana Times. You can find us at marijuanatimes.org. Click the video tab there to find the show. A lot of great articles there as well. marijuanatimes.org. Social media links also for you to check out today. Just leave it up longer, that graphic. Today we're talking about marijuana use being up. Also, I'll give you an update on the votes that we talked about last week when it comes to Michigan and a couple of the small towns in Michigan voting on marijuana businesses. And the makers of Arizona iced tea are getting into the cannabis industry. Now, we pull down the graphic and I say, but before we get to all of that, I'm going to tell you about NatureSide, because NatureSide is awesome. They're our sponsor, nature-side.com, and they're organic, all natural pesticides. Grow safe and poison-free with NatureSide. Don't use banned pesticides in the state that you're growing in. Be regulatory compliant. Don't use harmful things on anything that anybody's going to be ingesting. No harmful substances or chemicals. Instead, use NatureSide. Nature-side.com. Proud sponsor of Cannabis News. And then we move on to the news. Like clockwork. A well-oiled machine. This first story from marijuanatimes.org. Of course marijuana use is up. Ain't I great at writing titles? Anyway, there's a new study that shows, and this is from the Rockefeller Institute, that since 2002, marijuana use in states without adult use legalization has gone up 33%, while it has gone up 47% in states that have passed adult use, aka recreational legalization laws. And there's two very obvious reasons for this. The first, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, most people believed that marijuana caused cancer, caused lung cancer. It killed your brain cells. It made you stupid. It led you down the path to harder drugs and destitution and homelessness and dying in the gutter. Now, most people know that that is not even remotely true, that we were lied to for many, many years. So a lot of the stigma that was surrounded marijuana 30, 40, even 10 years ago has been wiped away, which that alone would contribute to increased use of marijuana. The example I use in the story is milk, but any substance. You learned that substance that everybody told you gave you cancer, and it was just horrible for you, and it killed your brain cells, and it would destroy your life. Instead, you found out that none of those things were true, and it had multiple medicinal qualities. Well, you would use more of it, whether it was marijuana or anything else. Add to that the increased liberalization of legalization laws and the spread of legalization laws through the United States. That contributes to the increase in marijuana use as well. Of course, Prohibition has told us, that marijuana legalization will lead to teen use going up, and ironically enough, the only age group that has shown consistently stagnant use or declining use are teenagers. Also, ironically, the groups that are showing the most growth or the most increase in marijuana use are like the baby boomers. A lot of them are coming back to marijuana use, and the older than baby boomer folks, even them. But as a whole, those 55 and over for at least a couple years have been the fastest growing segment of the population when it comes to increasing marijuana use and becoming a marijuana user, however you want to put it, whatever angle you look at it from. And in the end, good. I mean, the fact there's data shows that it's helping people get off opioids. There's some data that shows that people are substituting marijuana for alcohol. Those are all good things. So more people are using more marijuana. More adults are using more marijuana. Okay, great. What's the problem? I don't understand. And a lot of people are very, not necessarily the story that I like to, but there's a lot of other stories you see about this that they're very surprised that marijuana use is up. Well, of course it is. More people are learning that marijuana is great and is legal, is being combined with that, and they're like, hey, this great marijuana is now legal. It used to be not great. It used to kill people by the millions, but now it doesn't do that anymore, apparently. It doesn't cause cancer or kill brain cells, and it's legal. Yeah, I'll give it a shot. Why wouldn't you? Obviously, some people won't, and that's fine. Good for them. But as I've always said, the choice should be available. And, well, more people are choosing to use marijuana, which is not a surprise. This next story from Freep.com, the Detroit Free Press. This update, like I said, is on the 3 Michigan towns voting on marijuana businesses we talked about last week. 3 communities say no to marijuana businesses during Tuesday's election. The three communities I talked about were Highland Park, Vanderbilt, and Crystal Lake. These are small towns, obviously. I mean, the Vanderbilt vote was 84 to 72. So it's not. They voted against a proposal that would have allowed up to 22 legal weed businesses in the tiny town. Now, look, no one is more for more weed businesses than me. But when less than 200 people vote in a town, are they really going to be able to support 22 legal weed businesses in the town? I mean, obviously people would come from, around the area. It's to like the retail shops or whatever. But it just doesn't seem plausible that a town which had 200 people vote, which means what? They have like, 1,000 people in the town? Is 1,000 people going to support 22 weed businesses? Are they going to support 22 businesses at all? Maybe not. But that's so. I mean, I have to smoke a lot of marijuana in Vanderbilt. That's going to happen. And the end of the article is a little crowing from prohibitionist dude Scott Greenlee. We've talked about him before on the show and some of his outrageous comments. Executive Director of Healthy and Productive Michigan, who was campaigning against the legalization proposal last year, as working with communities that want to prohibit marijuana businesses. He said the election results aren't surprising. Quote, there will be more to come as people find out they've been sold a bill of goods about marijuana legalization. He said, I think Michigan will end up like Colorado, with 75 to 80% of communities saying no to marijuana. So he's trying to make this out as, legalization is bad, so that's why these towns are voting against it, when 56% or whatever of the state voted for it. And it's true, like 75% of the communities in Colorado have said no to marijuana businesses, and that's their problem. They're going to lose out on the tax revenue and the economic impact that comes from that. And a lot of those towns in Colorado are now changing their mind and shifting their position. A lot of this comes from towns and jurisdictions waiting to see what the state is going to do, what their regulations are going to be. And as a preemptive measure, they just ban the businesses before, the cart gets ahead of the horse, if you will. But there's polls in Colorado that still show that the vast majority of people in Colorado support marijuana legalization, and they don't regret the fact that it was passed. So for this guy, this Scott Greenlee character, to say that it's because people realize they've been sold a bill of goods is a bit disingenuous, but that's what you get from prohibitionists. And in the end, these three towns, well, too bad. They're going to lose out on a lot. People in those towns want to buy marijuana will go to other towns to do so. And those towns will have the economic impact and the tax revenue, etc. This last story from CNBC.com. Arizona tea maker enters the cannabis market. Marijuana products will soon hit the masses as the maker of Arizona tea enters the cannabis market, starting with vape pens and THC-infused gummies. Privately held Arizona Beverage announced that it was reached a licensing deal with Dixie Brands, which makes and sells drinks, chocolates, gummies, and topical creams that are laced with marijuana. Through the partnership, Dixie, which operates in 6 U.S. states, will manufacture and distribute products branded with Arizona's name. The products will be sold through licensed dispensaries. The deal also gives Arizona the right to buy a stake of up to $10 million in the cannabis company. Arizona Beverage's namesake iced teas are a staple at convenience stores and supermarkets around the country, including 7-Elevens, Walmarts, and Walgreens, which might indicate marijuana products are edging closer to the mainstream. That would be something, to walk into Walmart one day and buy Arizona TeaHC infused gummies. Look, I just made a brand. I just created a brand for you. You're welcome. They probably already thought of that, though. That was pretty obvious. Arizona TeaHC gummies. Come on. You're going to be a marketing genius like myself to get to that, to follow that train of logic. The cannabis market is an important emerging category, said Don Vultaggio, chairman of Arizona Beverages. He said, we maintain our independence as a private business to be positioned to lead and seize generation-defining opportunities exactly like this one. The cannabis category is an ideal space to bring the flavor and fun of Arizona into new and exciting products. And overall, it's good for the cannabis community, the industry, even activists. The more normalized, the more mainstream marijuana becomes, that the better it is for everyone in the cannabis community, for all cannabis consumers. The more choice there is, whether it's drinks, gummies, edibles, whatever, all of it's great. When big names move in, I'm all for it. Come on, Walmart. Why ain't Walmart making weed? Make some weed, Walmart. Come on. Make it you can name it after Sam Walton. Walmart's own strains. Sell them next to the Straight Talk smartphones. Yeah. Man, I'm full of business ideas today. I'm brimming. Really am in the wrong business. The wrong line. I should be a mogul. I should be a mogul by now. It's really been a great disappointment in my life. my mogul status is non-existent. But one thing I am is the host of Cannabis News 5 days a week, right here at marijuanatimes.org. Search the Marijuana Times on YouTube and Vimeo to find the videos. If you subscribe on YouTube, make sure you click the little notification bell so you know when a new episode of Cannabis News has dropped. If you want the audio-only version, check Apple Podcasts. Search the Marijuana Times there. Thank you to Nature Side, nature-side.com, and the organic, all-natural pesticides. Thank you to all of you who watched and listened today. And we'll see you next time right here on Cannabis News.